The night was unnervingly silent, the ruins of the house smoldering as the last embers flickered out. Emily and I sat on the damp ground, our bodies trembling from exhaustion, our minds barely able to process what had just happened. The entity was gone, at least for now, but the ominous feeling in the air hadn't faded. Something still lingered, an unfinished chapter in a book soaked with blood and shadow. Emily turned to me, her fingers digging into the earth as if grounding herself to reality. "It's not over," she whispered, her voice hoarse. "I can still hear them." A shiver ran through me. I could hear them too. The whispers were faint but persistent, slithering through the air like venomous serpents. They came from nowhere and everywhere at once, reminding us that the horror we thought we had escaped was merely biding its time. A sudden gust of wind howled through the night, rustling the trees and carrying with it a chilling message. The air turned icy again, and the world around us seemed to darken. I reached out and grasped Emily's hand. It was cold, too cold. "We need to go," I said, forcing myself onto unsteady legs. "We can't stay here." Emily hesitated, her gaze fixed on the ruins. "Something's still here," she murmured. "Something that won't let us leave." As if to confirm her words, the ground beneath us trembled. A deep, guttural groan echoed from the wreckage, the remnants of the house shifting as if something inside was trying to claw its way back to the surface. Then, slowly, impossibly, the ruins began to rebuild themselves. I grabbed Emily's arm and yanked her back as the shattered wood and collapsed walls twisted and reformed, piece by piece, brick by brick. Within moments, the house stood again, untouched, as if it had never fallen. A fresh horror settled into my bones. This wasn't over. This was never meant to be over. The front door creaked open, revealing nothing but darkness inside, and then a voice, a familiar voice. "Come inside." My breath hitched. It was my own voice, my own words, mimicked perfectly, echoing out from the abyss. Emily clutched my arm, her nails digging into my skin. "It's calling you," she choked out. "It wants you." The air around us thickened, pressing against my chest, making it hard to breathe. My mind screamed at me to run, to get as far away as possible, but my body refused to move. A force stronger than logic, stronger than fear, pulled me forward. My feet moved of their own accord, dragging me toward the house. "No!" Emily cried, but I couldn't stop. The whispers grew louder, forming words, sentences, commands. "You belong to us. You freed her. Now, you take her place." I turned back to Emily, panic flashing in her tear-filled eyes. "Don't let it take you," she screamed, grabbing my arm and pulling with all her strength. But the pull from the house was stronger. A shadowy force coiled around my legs, dragging me inside. My fingers slipped from Emily's grasp, and before I could scream, the door slammed shut, sealing me in darkness. The silence was suffocating. I turned, my hands fumbling in the pitch black. "Emily!" I called, my voice swallowed by the void. I reached out, feeling nothing but the thick, damp air pressing against my skin. And then, a hand touched mine. It wasn't Emily's. The grip was cold, lifeless. My stomach twisted as the fingers tightened around my wrist. A breath, ice-cold and rancid, brushed against my ear. "Welcome home," the voice whispered. And then the darkness swallowed me whole.